Hey, what's going on, everybody? Game Geezer here. I'm going to run through and show you guys, unfortunately, on my camera phone, um, my BIOS system here, how I got my BIOS set up with my voltage and everything, and then we're going to come back into Windows here, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I stress my 7700K at its current clock of 5 gigahertz with no AVX. AVX is set to 0. To me, if you're setting AVX, it's like you're not really getting the speeds that you're claiming to get. It's because AVX is an offset ratio. So if you run 5 gigahertz but you set your AVX to 5, you're really basically saying, I run 4.5 gigahertz most of the time, and then every once in a while when I'm able to, I can hit 5. That's not the same. So what I'm going to show you here on my phone is my AVX set to 0, my core clock set to a multiplier of 50, cache ratio set to 45, voltage, core voltage is 1.3 even, and my RAM is overclocked up to 2933. A little side note on that, my RAM is actually supposed to be DDR4 3000. That's what I paid for, but for some reason, if I try to clock it at 3000 even, I get crashes. My computer will freeze and make a loud whining noise out of the speakers, and I realized by clocking my RAM down a little step at a time that 2933 is what I'm actually able to push my RAM to. I don't know why, but I'm not going to question it. I just know that's where it's at. So if you're getting that kind of issue where it's freezing and you're getting some noise out of the speakers, you probably have your RAM clock too high. I realized this when I had the Asus board do an overclock on the RAM, and it set it to 2933. Even though what I bought was 3000, DDR 3000. It even says it on the side of the RAM on a sticker. But again, I guess I just got shorted a little bit, and it's fine. So anyways, I guess it's one of those things. It's kind of like when you buy hard drive space, they sell you a 500 gig, but when you load it in, it's really like 480 or something like that, So no problems there. But anyways, back to what's going on here. I'm going to show you my temps, because as you know, I did a relid and a delid. I finally got my voltage tune in where I'm very happy with it, and I wanted to show you guys all these benchmarks. I'm going to run several processes in the background, and I'm going to show you that it will not crash at this voltage, and the temps will not go above 56C the entire time. So we're going to hit a max of 56C on a 7700K, 5 gigahertz, no AVX, alright? I'm going to show you this now, and I'm going to run several benchmarks. I'm going to run my Malwarebytes, Kaspersky Antivirus. I'm going to run Cinebench 11, Cinebench R15, Asus Realbench, all at the same time. So think about that. If you run just one Cinebench, it maxes your CPU to 100%. So I'm going to run 2 Cinebenches and the Asus Realbench, plus have my Malwarebytes and Kaspersky Antivirus in the background running a full scan. So anyways, I'm going to cut it off here. I'm going to start from my camera phone. Unfortunately, I don't have a capture card. And I'm going to show you guys that from the BIOS to Windows to running the test, and my temps, and how great they can be if you're willing to push your CPU to the limit by delidding and relidding and playing with some voltage numbers in the BIOS. So here we go, guys. So I got my 7700K perfectly tuned, or at least what I consider a perfect tune, on my tower here. I have 5 gigahertz. Now I can go up to 5.2, but I wanted to show this chip is really made for 5 gigahertz, honestly, because once you try to go to 5.1 or 5.2, you have to crank up the voltage a ton. So for me to run 5.2, my voltage would be sitting around 1.45, but right now I got a really nice tune at 5 gigahertz at 1.3 volts even. And I wanted to show you guys here. I don't have a capture card, so sorry about my quality here, but you can see 5,000 megahertz there. My RAM is 2933. Cache frequency is set at 45. And I try to keep that within 500 megahertz of my total overclock. I could go up higher on that if I want, but I don't really need to. So I'm going to go here and go down to my voltage. See manual voltage 1.3. 1.3. Nice and frosty temps. I have all my case fans set to a static 80% because it's really not that loud. My fans are pretty quiet and they don't bother me. So I got all my fans at a static 80%. My CPU runs cool enough now I could just set them to silent mode, but I really don't mind the very mild noise to keep them at 80%. So I'm just going to leave them like that. And they don't ramp up to 90% until 70C, and then 100% at 75C. So now we got all that out of the way. I'm going to show you. I'm going to stress the crap out of my overclock here. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, my CPU has been delidded. So it's been delidded and relidded. And I got a Kraken in there. And I put some different custom screws that I've managed to come up with. Let's see, 27C, 28C. Just chilling. That's amazing. And get my light on in here. See the different nuts there? There's washers and nuts and stuff because I've got different screws because the ones that came with the Kraken were just too long. And it was making too big of a gap. But now that I got that all straightened out, my temps are pretty awesome. And I have my fans that are on my radiator set to a static 80% also. So my entire computer is set to basically static 80% unless I hit 70C, then it'll ramp up on my radiator there. But I wanted to show you guys is this tune that I got at 1.3 volts is amazing now that I have a delid and relid because temps never go very extreme now. The temps are great, the voltage is tuned in, and I'm going to show you just how far you can stress this chip after you delid and relid without getting a crash at this low voltage here. Now, you're going to have a lot of people that stress their chips differently, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I stress test a chip, and this is going to be really brutal. So this is way over the top, but I'm going to run real bench, and I'm not going to close any processes on Windows. I'm going to run everything in the background like normal. So we got real bench running here, but I'm also going to run Cinebench 11.5, 64-bit. Okay, put that in a little box there. And I'm also going to run Cinebench R15. Minimize that. And I'll just leave that open, minimize that. Okay, so now we got some stuff going on here. We got some way overkill stuff going on here. So you guys are probably like, whoa, that's a lot of crap. Well, I'm about to run both Cinebenches, my antivirus, my malware bytes, and real bench at 1.3 volts, 5 gigahertz with no AVX. The AVX is set to 0. So I can show you that here too with the ASUS tuner. AVX is 0 because you can put an offset of 5 and you would pass this easily. But we're not going to do that. I don't know why that's down at 23. That's weird. It's not right. I don't know why it's saying that, but that's not accurate. So now, let's get to running these. So I'm going to do a scan here, full scan. Run that. Run this Cinebench here. This Cinebench here. And I'm going to run Real Bench here. All together. So right now, you can see I'm literally stressing the bejesus out of this. %, no doubt, 100%. And we're going to see the max temp that I can get at this 5 gigahertz clock. Let it run its course. You can see the Cinebench there is struggling. And that's fine, that's cool. That's the point of all this, is to stress it to the point where the computer wants to fail and see if it fails. And my Cinebench score is going to be just awful. But that's, again, that's not the point. The point is to show you that you can get a really amazing tune at 5 gigahertz, super low voltage, and stress your computer to the point of failure, and it won't fail at this voltage because of the delid and relid. And not only that, but look at those temps. I mean, it's craziness. Come on, camera. Amazing. You can see RAM there. It says 1466. You take that number and you double it, so it comes out to 2933 or something like that. Look at that. Still hasn't failed yet. I haven't even hit 60C yet. Amazing. This is a perfect tune. Intel, come on guys. Why didn't you just ship these out like this? I used to get, temperature warnings all the time on this chip. And I don't get anywhere close to that now. I completely rectified the heating issue and got my voltage perfect for my chip. Every chip is different. Also, if you guys are tuning your chip with the way the chip came stocked, it's just not, you're going to have to redo it again if you relid and delid, because it's going to be like you got a whole new processor. When you tune a chip and it's got that crappy paste inside, you're going to get different results than after. I mean, voltage, temps, everything completely changed. It's like you're doing it all over again with a different chip. So just wait till you delid and relid, and then start figuring out, hey, this is where my voltage really needs to be. This is where my fans really need to be, all that stuff. And I can run this computer on silent now. I don't need to leave it at static 80% anymore, because as you can see, I don't even hit anywhere past 56C, pushing my computer to the limit. This first Cinebench is almost done, and then the other one's going to start picking up. I still have Malware Bytes finished, and Kaspersky is still running, or Kaspersky, however you like to pronounce it. Here we go. Look at that score, though. It's so funny, 1.71. But that's because I'm stressing it again. So I think both of the Cinebench scores have finished. Look at that, 171 over here and 1.71. How crazy is that? They're basically exactly identical. Malware Bytes finished, Kaspersky is still running, and Real Bench is still running also. I wish I had a capture card, but I don't, and I can't run out and go get one. But you guys get it. You guys see. This benchmark should be getting pretty close to finishing now that the other two are not hammering it anymore. Getting pretty close. I don't want to cut any of this out because I don't want it to look like I'm doing some kind of like camera magic or something, where I just like go change my tune and come back and like, look, you know. I want you to see that this is what it is. This chip is amazing. After you do all, I mean, it's sad that you have to do all this to get it to perform like this. But once you do, though, it's so worth it. I hope I didn't interrupt. Okay, cool. Benchmark is still running. Excellent. All right. There it is. In the background, it's running the AVX little video where it shows the different overclockers and all that stuff. So it's on its final leg, the last leg of the benchmark. Almost done. Now, before I did all this, my chip couldn't handle this at one point. It couldn't handle anything at 1.3 volts. I mean, right out of the box, it went to 1.4 volts, just straight up. Not even doing a hardcore overclock or anything. So that gives you some idea. And this, stressing it to this level, running, you know, 2 different Cinebenches, antiviruses, plus real bench all at the same time, this thing will easily pass any benchmark I throw at it. You know, if it'll pass this, it'll pass anything else. There's no single benchmark that can shut me down because I can run several and keep running. Near the finish line. There it is, it's done. Now, don't pay attention to my scores because they're crap, but I wasn't trying to make a record. If I rerun it now, just one of these benchmarks, I'll get a great time. But my point is, it didn't crash at all. Let me zoom in on these temps. Come on. You can do it, camera. I believe in you. There we go. Look at that. During that whole thing, the max temp was 56C. And look, it's dropping. It's going to start dropping back down. I'm still running Kaspersky, whatever you want to call it. Close all this stuff out. No, don't need to save any scores. Boom. Back down to 36C. Close all those windows out. Don't actually need to run that. So I'm going to close that out. How awesome is that, though? 5 gigahertz. Icy chill. Stable. 1.3 volts. Amazing. League of Legends. Any games I play, it's hovers around 40C. So you don't have to worry about temps anymore. I could put my fans on silent mode now and run 5 gigahertz all day. But I'll show you my fan curve here. I have my pump and my fans, and this is just for my for the Kraken, for the CPU cooler with the radiator. Static 80%, and then 70C goes up 90%, and 100. And I can run it silent mode now if I want. But that's how I was leaving my fan set up before I had got this perfect tune going. Look at that, 29C. So now at idle, it'll like idle anywhere between 26 and 29C. So pretty freaking amazing. But I just wanted to share that. That is how you stress test. If I try to do this with my 5.2 gigahertz overclock at 1.45 volts, yeah, from 1.3 to 1.45 volts is what it takes to go to 5.2 on this chip. I can run 2 different Cinebenches or Railbench or anything like that, but if I try to run all 3 plus all this other stuff, it will crash. So it's stable, but it's not my version of stable. My version of stable is the CPU is basically down to the point where it's like barely able to perform tasks and it still passes. That's stable to me. But I can run 5.2 if I don't mind cranking up the volts from 1.3 to 1.45, which is really extreme. I can run 5.2. Probably realistically, for it to be stable like I just showed you, I would have to crank it up to 1.6 or 1.7 volts. And that's just too much. So basically the chip is asking me for 1.5, and that's just insane. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to show you guys that this chip can run amazing if you are willing to dial in your tune on your voltages and delid and relid. You must delid and relid to get these kind of temps at that kind of voltage. But if you do it, you'll get what I just showed you there, which is fantastic. And yeah, it's a must. You must do this. It is amazing. If you're like into this kind of thing, that is an amazing result. That is what I wanted. Low voltage, high overclock, icy chill all the time. So completely stable, no issues, and it's great. It's exciting for the future. I feel like Intel could have really hit a home run if they would have just shipped out these chips like this already. I feel like they would have gotten a big heads up in the war against AMD that they're having right now. And I love both companies. I mean, when I was growing up as a kid, all I built was AMD because it's all I could afford. So, I'm glad they're back, but I feel like Intel really dropped the ball. They could have made all these chips ship out like this, running cold like this, and they would have had a lot of people saying good things about them. Especially as a gaming chip, they could have marketed this as just a budget gamer build that's going to run cool and run, top speed for high frames and all that stuff, and they could have done better. So it's a little disappointing that they didn't do that. But anyways, guys, if you're willing to mod your chip, yeah, definitely do it. It is amazing. Super low voltage, super great temps, super high overclock. I mean, it's everything you could want. And yeah, so anyways, I'm rambling too much. This video is getting too long, but I apologize for the video quality. But I don't have a capture card, and I could use XSplit with my camera, but when I'm stressing the computer to that level, XSplit will be extremely glitchy, and all you'll hear is my voice because it's doing so much, because I'm literally maxing the CPU out with several different apps. So anyways, guys, please subscribe and all that stuff if you want to see more videos like this. I don't get to build supercomputers all the time, like Jay's 2 Cents or anybody like that, Paul's Hardware, but I definitely like to push what I have. So I took what I had, which is my 7700K, and I made it the best it could be. And this is the best it can be. I'm confident. I'm actually able to get the voltage down to 1.28 voltage, but not, and it'll be stable for a single benchmark or 2 benchmarks, but not 3 benchmarks and antiviruses and all that stuff running and all that stuff. But I could drop the voltage down some more, but 1.3 volts will handle anything I can throw at it with the delid and relid and the Kraken AIO in there. So amazing. Yeah, this is what I consider stable. You throw several benchmarks and it doesn't crash or fail, then yeah, this is good. So anyways, guys, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Makes me happy when I get subscribers because it doesn't happen very often. and when it does, it makes me feel good. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Catch you later.